Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily, the first English news program in Poland. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. A high-profile court session was brought to trial today at the district court in Gdańsk by Jarosław Kaczyński, chairman of Law and Justice Party, against the former president, Lech Wałęsa, for slander and defamation. Lech Wałęsa accused Jarosław Kaczyński on social media for being responsible for the Smolensk catastrophe.
The Law and Justice Party chairman demands an apology and 30,000 Polish zlotys as a fine paid out to charity. Before the start of the trial, the judge proposed to the parties to consider the pre-trial reconciliation. The parties agreed. The talks lasted over 2 hours, but the agreement did not take place. The events in the court today are widely commented by the Polish mass media on both sides of the political scene. According to many journalists, the proceedings of the trial were a judicial farce.
Farsą z wymiaru sprawiedliwości.
Today, the Civic Platform politician Rafał Trzaskowski entered the office as the new mayor of Warsaw. The politician announced that one of his main priorities will be taking care of the poor. Political commentators speculate that policies in his term of office will most likely be a continuation of the previous mayor.
Rafał Trzaskowski has started his term of office with the huge credit of trust. Around 500,000 Warsaw inhabitants voted for him in the local government elections.
Decyzją warszawiaków.
We are starting a new stage of our city. I promised a new Warsaw, a Warsaw of equality, a city that supports and focuses on the poorest, the city that considers every single district as equal, a place where people live good lives, the city that gives safety and that is open for its inhabitants.
W którym każda dzielnica jest sobie równa.
The new mayor of Warsaw declared his will to cooperate with the opposition.
Warszawa jest miastem demokratycznym.
I declare in this room that I will be cooperating with the councillors of the opposition. Warsaw is a democratic city. It is the city of freedom and the city of law.
Towarzyszą nam na szczeblu centralnym.
Hanna Gronkiewicz-Waltz was Rafał Trzaskowski's patron. The politician can count not only on her support, but from the leader of the Civic Platform Party, Grzegorz Schetyna, as well. I see everything very positively because Rafał Trzaskowski is very well prepared. He has been a Minister of Administration, a Vice President of Foreign Affairs, and also a member of the European Parliament. He has great potential.
Rafał Trzaskowski should realize his plan. I think it's a big chance for Warsaw and its inhabitants.
According to journalists, the looming influence on Trzaskowski's party can be a huge problem facing his term of office.
Albo Rafał Trzaskowski będzie prezydentem całą kadencję.
Rafał Trzaskowski will either serve his full term, leaving us with the exact same policies as the former mayor Hanna Gronkiewicz-Waltz, or he will keep his position only for a short time, as the Civic Platform is likely to run him as a presidential candidate in the 2020 elections. He then would have to take drastic actions to win the race.
W kierunku lewicowego elektoratu.
Na pewno to będzie prezydentura w cieniu Hanny Gronkiewicz-Waltz.
Everything that Rafał Trzaskowski does will be a reference to everything that Hanna Gronkiewicz-Waltz did in her term of office. This is going to be a hard 5 years. The opposition will be closely watching his every move. He will be facing lots of challenges.
Przed nim jest oczywiście sporo wyzwań.
The new mayor of Warsaw will unveil his new crew tomorrow and announce his governing priorities on Monday.
The Polish parliament is going to decide whether or not to lift the immunity off of the Civic Platform politician and party's former Secretary General, Stanisław Gawłowski. The motion to hold the politician to criminal liability come from the public prosecutor's office.
The outcome of the vote on Gawłowski's case seems to be a foregone conclusion. First, we should allow Gawłowski to try and prove his innocence before the judge. However, I think it is a pity that this whole affair had to happen in a courtroom. In April this year, Stanisław Gawłowski heard 5 charges, 3 of them related to corruption. Ultimately, the Civic Platform politician was released out of jail on a 500,000 zlotys bail. We are still wondering how to vote. Nonetheless, it is plain to see that this debacle is an attempt at manipulation and digging for dirt on Stanisław Gawłowski. Most recent charges made against Gawłowski include accepting a bribe of 100,000 zlotys and an apartment in Croatia. The other charge concerns money laundering. According to Piotr Apel, member of the Cookies 15 movement, parliamentary immunities should be repealed. Anyone is allowed to defend himself in any way possible. However, I believe it is not up to members of parliament to decide someone's innocence. The MPs are only supposed to determine whether an action came due as a result of a parliamentary activity or otherwise. Dark clouds are also brewing over Gawłowski's party associate Sławomir Neumann. Last week, Prosecutor General Zbigniew Ziobro announced that charges against him will be made in the coming days.
Americans around the world celebrated the most participated holiday of the country, Thanksgiving. From the politicians of the White House all the way to the stationed soldiers thousands of miles away from home, celebrations of the holiday helps to bring union and a sense of gratitude.
The White House celebration began with the pardon of Pea and Carrot, two turkeys which, according to tradition, was returned their freedom by the president. Then came the time for celebrations with relatives and gala dinners. But before the celebratory event, thousands of Americans had to deal with communication problems, traffic jams and crowded trains. It seems that Poles are not the only ones dealing with traffic when leaving the holidays. Thanksgiving is traditionally celebrated on the fourth Thursday of November. On this day, the Americans express gratitude for the good and prosperity they had in the passing year. Thanksgiving is celebrated since 1621 in memory of the settlers who survived the first winter in America after arriving from Europe to foreign soil. This is the most celebrated holiday by Americans for not tying to any religion. Americans around the world spend time with their families. For those who cannot unite with their loved ones, such as soldiers stationed in South Korea, this American tradition helps to cope with homesickness.
So today's event is our Thanksgiving meal. This is an event we do every single year, an American traditional holiday that we like to put together, usually focus on family and, just being thankful for everything we have.
Another interesting tradition of Thanksgiving is the tradition of sharing. On this occasion, celebrities helped out in the homeless center in Los Angeles. The homeless themselves express that it is an important gesture for them, helping to raise awareness for the needs of the poor and understanding their difficult situation.
I will say I'm happy to be a helping hand, but I think the people that are involved with the mission on a daily basis, that are literally out here doing the work day to day, that are hands-on, those are the real people that deserve the applause.
According to estimates, Americans eat more than 45 million turkeys on Thanksgiving. The traditional turkeys are baked with special stuffing and served with roasted potatoes, cranberries and gravy.
That's it for today. See you next time on Poland Daily. But stay tuned for the Poland Daily Weather Report, followed by Poland Daily Business.